like fighting is just something that I love to do. I love competing, and I love showing my kids that, competition is important, and, nerves are important, and, just hard work, and, just trials and tribulations of life.
Let's get right into it, right? Shawna, thank you so much for joining me. You know what I mean? It's been so long since you probably did any kind of interview, right? When's the last time you did an interview for fighting?
Well, up until probably a couple weeks ago, it's been a long time, man. Like probably like, I don't know, 4 years-ish. Around that. I'm not really good at interviews, so like the whole interview thing, it's kind of like freaks me out sometimes. So I kind of like, pushed it off. But 2022, I've kind of told myself that, okay, let's just like be in the moment for everything, and let's just like, just really, just like adapt to new things, and just like get over that, fear. Like, what am I really fearing of an interview? Just be yourself type thing.
Oh, for
So,
sure. For sure. That's the easiest thing to do is be yourself, right?
yeah.
Now, the first question, of course, is why come back now?
Um, you know, it- it's kind of like one of those things that, if you're a fighter, like it's hard to just step away. And especially me, I started like later on in my life. Like I have 2 kids, I'm 35. Um, I just, it's just something that I love it. And right now, I feel so young still, and my body is good, and my mind is good, my spirit's good. So why not? My kids are a little bit older now. In the beginning, when I first started competing, it was harder because, they were young, like 5 and 3. So, juggling everything was a lot. But now, they're older, 12 and 10, self-sufficient. It's easy. So, and I've always been training. It's not like, I just like cold turkey quit. I've always been training. So just kind of, the itch was there, and the itch has always been there, but I don't know. I love it. I love fighting.
The kids are self-sufficient, like you said, and I think that that's the biggest thing, right? Is when you have children, they come first. You kind of put yourself in the back seat. Where was the turning point for you where the itch was always there, but the itch could be there for 15 years but you never scratch it? Where did you feel like, okay, now it's the time?
I think just over the summer, we had a couple of our fighters getting ready for a fight locally, and I was training with them, and I don't know, my sparring was going good, and my mental space was really going good. I felt like, I wasn't stressed out juggling everything, and again, like I said, my kids are older, so I can leave them at home to babysit themselves and go and train, and not have to worry with them scrapping each other while I'm training and then just going crazy. So I think, yeah, the turning point for me, like just to, me and my husband just agreed to do it, was in the summer.
Well, you did make your pro debut in 2018. You got a win. Take me back. What do you remember most about that fight?
It's so hard because, like I said, a lot of my fights were mentally for me very surface. So I don't really remember like being in the ring, and what was going on before. It was just a lot of like stress earlier on in my career. So yeah, I don't really remember. I just remember a lot of aggression. I have a lot of aggression, and I think that stems back from like childhood. But yeah, I just love competing, and once I started competing, it's just something that I feel that's really important.
And after that, throughout 2019, before the pandemic hit, you had a bunch of fights that were canceled. And the last one was really interesting to me because you were supposed to fly over to Japan and fight Reina, who was like one of
Mhm.
their biggest stars. Like tell me, because it says you had a concussion. Is that what really happened?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And it was really scary too. Um, because actually, me and my training partner, we clashed heads, and I had a huge hematoma on my head, but I was like hiding it. I wasn't showing anybody. And people were coming into my gym that, like trained with my husband, and I wasn't recognizing them. And I was actually throwing up after I was training. I would go in the bathroom and throw up. And my husband, who's also my coach, heard me, and he was like, what the hell's going on with you? And so he made me go to the doctor. And my doctor's like, yeah. Yeah, and it was a long recovery too, because like I said, it was so scary because I couldn't recognize anybody. And then when I finally pulled out of that fight, because like I would have fought, I would have flown over there, and I literally would have fought. And my husband's like, you're not going to give yourself a fair chance. So we pulled out, and still to this day, it's like super. It's like it's just tugs at my heart because it's just, that was like the big break. But after I pulled out, I slept for like a week, like just KO'd, and slowly, got back going, and training, and then the pandemic hit, and so it's been a long time, but like I said, I'm better, like mentally now, and physically, emotionally, in a better place. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
There's always the chance, she's still fighting. Ryzen has been putting
Yeah,
on shows continuously. I would like to see you, in Japan fighting,
I
Reina
to-
again. Put that matchup back together.
I would love it. I would take that in a heartbeat.
Now, for this fight, for Palace Athena, how did you guys get connected with them? Because they're a brand new promotion on the other side of the country.
Yeah, so like I said, in September, when we kind of really made the commitment that I wanted to fight, I started looking at other like provinces to fight in. So I just started messaging different organizations, and I kind of started seeing like PAWFC, their posts on Facebook and or Instagram, and I wasn't really sure, when their show was going to be put on. And then I had messaged a friend of ours, Ryan Ford. I asked him, like, do you think that there's any promotions like in Alberta? And he kind of, gave me the rundown of who I should message. So I messaged Paul FC, and yeah, and then they kind of matched me up. So that's how it
Very
happened.
simple.
Yeah, very
Very
simple.
easy. A lot, especially in Canada, from what I've heard from certain Canadian fighters on the regional scene, it has been hard getting fights.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially at the weight class I'm fighting at, and then a lot of the girls are also signed to different organizations. And because I've been 1-0, and I've had a couple, like fallout fights, and I think nobody really wanted to maybe take a chance, but I'm really excited to fight at POPC. I think it's a great opportunity. All women's league, Canada's first. Like that's so amazing to me.
It is, and when they match you up with the Elisandra, what did you think? Did you have you looked her up, or are you just thinking like I'm gonna let my coaches handle that? I don't care about who's the opponent.
No, absolutely. So they had given me another opponent, which I was for the first month or so I was preparing for her, and then she had pulled out. Something happened with her, and then they gave me a whole bunch of names. And originally we had said no to her, just because she's been so active. She's had a lot of a lot of fights, but she's had more fights, and being active was the most important thing, right? Because I've been inactive for so long, so we wanted somebody maybe who has been inactive for a while. But and then we started kind of looking at her fights and watching her movement, and I think it's going to be just a great matchup for both of us. So
With your development, you've been away for years now, and did you feel like when you were training, still training, there were like certain aspects of your game that you just needed to focus on heavily, and you've kind of tightened that up throughout the years?
yeah, like I said, I'm always in the gym. I'm always training. My husband's my coach, so it's not just like it's at the gym, it's in the car ride, it's at home, it's first thing I wake up in the morning. I got all these messages because he becomes obsessed. Like realistically, he is like, I would say he's like the video game player, and I'm the character. So, he's the one that does all the research, and I really have to give it to him because he, looks at my opponents. He tells me, bases a game plan on them. He looked up, you know, fighters that she's fought. He's looked those records up, and then fighters that they fought. So he really gets in depth with it. Sends me YouTube snap videos. I got notes and notes and notes. So it's like like a test. Like you have to study for it.
That's really nice to
It's in,
have.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm really blessed. Like he's just an encyclopedia. And well, he actually works for the BC Athletic Commission out here too. So that's why I originally was looking to fight at different leagues out of province. Because I didn't want, any, whatever with him and his job. I I just thought it would be better for me to go elsewhere and fight. And less pressure too, right?
What are the obstacles though of having, your husband as your coach?
Oh, there's a lot. But I mean, it's all out of love. He obviously just doesn't want me to go out there and get hurt. And like I said, he's got high expectations. So his work ethic is on another level. His note taking, his brain is on another level. So it's hard at times, but at the end of the day, I have to remember to put my ego away. And like I said, it's all out of love. So it's
Hmm.
it's hard sometimes. Let's
Yeah.
just say
Yeah,
that.
of course, of course. It's 10 times, you know what I mean, of what a
Absolutely.
regular fighter would probably experience because you're so close to the coach. You're training, you know what I mean, your training camp, you're getting the feels again, right? You're going through, do you have to diet so much for your to make weight or anything like that, or is it pretty easy for you?
It's been pretty easy. When I had when I was getting ready in 2019 to fight Kiana Rain, I had a little bit of an issue, like a medical issue, and so it took a long time for them to diagnose me. But I ended up getting diagnosed with hypothyroidism, so I couldn't lose the weight when I was weight cutting for her. I stopped sweating. We didn't know what the heck was going on with me, but after I, got on medication, it's just everything kind of like regulated. So now it's super easy. I just drink some water and I'm good to go.
That's right. That's right. And what about the feelings though of, the fight getting closer and closer and closer? Regular people don't know that, but for you to get that again, how does it feel?
Yeah. Yeah. I was telling my husband the other day, he's like, every day he's like, "Are you nervous? Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "You know what? I'm not really nervous. What what would change it? Like what would change if I was nervous? Like nothing would change. So why would I put that pressure on me myself?" I'm not getting nervous. I'm not getting fearful. Normally before I would have these roller coaster of emotions, and now I just feel like I'm just so calm and I just want to be like I said, in the moment, like zen, like seeing everything. At night sometimes I can't sleep just because I'm going over techniques in my head. Like if I get put in this position, then I got to do this. But that's really like the only, you know, like anxiousness I have is just going over positions in my head. But yeah, I told my husband, I said, like, is it normal for me not to be like nervous? Like I don't know. I just feel like it's just like a new me.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I guess it is a new you because it's been a while since you've
Oh
you've
wow,
gone
yeah.
through this, right? And for yourself, like, what are your Of course, your coach has his expectations, but what are your expectations in your performance, like, in your debut against Ferreira?
Yeah, I told my husband that I have a lot of conversations with him. That's why I refer back to I refer back to him a lot. Um, but I just want to be able to just I know that being off for so long, mistakes might get made. It might not be as picture perfect as I see it in my head, but I want to remember it after. I want to remember, okay, I was in this position. I had a hard time with this. So then after the fight, I can go back and I can work on that. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much.
It's like a test, then.
Yeah, it's like a test, exactly. There's going to be strong points and there's going to be weak points. But I feel like I'm pretty prepared all the way around. Like I said, I've been off since 2018, but I haven't really been off because I've still been in the gym and still been watching techniques and still been drilling and still working on, my weaknesses.
Fully involved in the fight game because you live with the
Yeah,
fight game.
absolutely, absolutely. Like my kids, they do wrestling with a at a wrestling camp,
Yeah.
and they go to another jiu-jitsu school, and
Mm.
so we're like a mixed martial arts family.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what is the plan though? You know, are you gonna continue fighting? Because for an atom weight, it's like there's some opportunity out there. If you get a couple fights in the regional scene and internationally, you know, one championship has a growing atom weight division. Ryzen, you were gonna fight for them. Their atom weight division is growing as well. You know, there's rumors of UFC bringing in an atom weight division real soon in the next couple of years. What is your plan? Is it fight by fight, or do you want to really take this somewhere?
Yeah, obviously, I would love to, have the end goal be in an organization like that. But I'm not really looking at, the destination as much as I am the journey to get there, if that makes sense. And yeah, like I said, I just I like fighting is just something that I love to do. I love competing, and I love showing my kids that, competition is important, and, nerves are important, and, just hard work, and, just trials and tribulations of life.
And it's kind of cool, like the kids could say, "My mom's a badass," you know, like she beats people up.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of cool too. At the same time, in a way, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Shauna, good luck on the fight and good luck on the rest of the camp, and hopefully, I get to interview, more as you continue your journey.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it.